I want to talk today about Suboxone treatment and why I think I failed at it and why I think it didn't work for me. When I first got on Suboxone, I've been on Suboxone for 3 different separate treatments with 3 separate doctors. The first one I was on for about 6 months. They started me at about 16 milligrams of Suboxone a day, and then eventually took that down to 8 milligrams after a few months, and then I just stayed right there. When I first initially went to the doctor, they had to have you clean for, I think it was like 24 or 48 hours. You have to have been clean off of drugs in order for them to prescribe you the Suboxone. I never got fucking clean. Like I maybe withdrawal. I think I shot up heroin that day, when I went in there and they drug test you, but, it's still going to show up in your body. They still prescribed me the Suboxone. I had been withdrawing maybe for like a couple hours, not long, like maybe like half a day. And then the first time that I got the Suboxone, I took an 8 milligram tablet and you let it dissolve underneath your tongue. And I tell you what, man, I was fucked up. Like I felt good. And a lot of people say you can't get high off of Suboxone. And it's like partially true. But in my opinion, if you're at a withdrawal stage where you're like feeling fucking terrible and you take an 8 milligram Suboxone, you're going to be feeling pretty fucking good. I think what they mean by that is you can't take like more. Like if I took like 24 milligrams of Suboxone, I'm not going to get any more fucked up than, if I just took 8 milligrams of Suboxone. Maybe slightly, but you're not going to get huge peaks of like dopamine hits. But you're still going to get a dopamine hit, in my opinion, like from what I felt. And I think this was like the biggest fucking problem with me getting clean on Suboxone is that. The fact that as soon as I took that Suboxone, I had no more worries. I had no more problems. Because I was feeling good. I felt great. I was like, fuck, I can fucking do this forever. This is great. I'm like getting prescribed, everything that I fucking need right in here. And I don't have to worry about what am I going to fucking steal today to get money to get heroin? You don't have to worry about it because you're good. I take my Suboxone, I'm good for 24 hours. I don't have to take it until the next day. And when I was using the Suboxone, I was still feeding for a rush. I was still looking for a rush. And that whole 6 months, probably about a couple weeks in, I tried to shoot heroin is what I first started with, where I was like, maybe I could use. And they say with like Suboxone, which is true, if you take Suboxone that you're not going to feel the effects of opiates. And that is true. When I shot heroin when I was on Suboxone, I still felt a rush. Like I felt that initial rush of shooting heroin. But I didn't get high from it. I didn't get anything from it. And it was pretty dumbed down. Like it wasn't that strong. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I was still looking for something. And I started smoking crack. And just about the whole time when I was ever on Suboxone, I was there either smoking crack or shooting cocaine. Period. It was keeping me clean off of heroin, but it wasn't keeping me clean off of the drugs. And the Suboxone treatment, in order to get it, you had to see a doctor, and then within that company, you also had to see a therapist, which is good. I like that idea, that they're just not like prescribing you stuff and they're trying to work through, your issues. But I never had a lot of luck with the therapist, especially the therapist that I had with them, they never told me what I needed to hear. They never found my actual problems. It seemed like, as I've said before, we were just circulating around my fucking problems and not finding solutions as to what's going on. How can I make myself feel better? And honestly, I had no want to try to feel better, or try to work on myself personally, because I was already on the Suboxone. I was already feeling good. But the main problem with all of this, of what I've discovered after 10 years of sobriety, after coming off cold turkey this last time, is that the addiction was not my problem. Being addicted to heroin was not my problem. It was a solution to the fucking issues that were in my head. And treating the addiction was what the Suboxone was doing. It was keeping me sober off of heroin. But that wasn't fixing what was inside my head. I still was chasing that high. I still was chasing stuff. I was still trying to get out of my head. All the time. Through drinking, smoking crack. I was always doing fucked up shit when I was on Suboxone. Just because I was off the heroin didn't mean that I wasn't pushing towards drugs, because I wasn't working on myself personally. Personally, I still hated myself. Therapy wasn't working for me. From what I've learned now is that I had to go through that period. I had to push through those withdrawals. I had to push through the pain and the weeks and months of just trying to feel better. I had to find a solution to make myself feel better in a natural, healthy way. And when I took the Suboxone, it closed the door on all that stuff. Like I said, I'm not counting out Suboxone treatment. I understand that there's a lot of situations where Suboxone can be beneficial. You know, if you have a career or you have, you know, a job where you just cannot take time off, and coming off of heroin or coming off of opiates is just fucking terrible. You know, there's not times where you can just take 2 weeks off of work. You can use it as like a bridge where you just take Suboxone for a little bit, try to come off of it. But I think one of the biggest misconceptions of Suboxone, in my experience, is that people don't think about the withdrawals of it. And I would put Suboxone withdrawal up there with heroin, if not worse. They're fucking terrible. And I've done the Suboxone treatment where I've weaned off of it, gone from 16 milligrams all the way down to 2 milligrams, all the way down to tearing a 2 milligram in half and taking 1 milligram. And even at the end of that, of actually tapering off the Suboxone, only being on it for under 9 months, I was still withdrawing. I was still having my bones ache. I was still nauseous. My stomach was fucked up. Like, it was full on withdrawal mode. Suboxone was prolonging the issue. Eventually you're gonna have to come off of the Suboxone and you're gonna go through the withdrawals. And if you haven't fixed the person inside your head yet, as soon as you come off of that Suboxone, you're fucked. And this is where my biggest fucking problem is with Suboxone treatments, because people see it like that and doctors see it like that, and they'll say, you need to be on Suboxone the rest of your life. And there's actually fucking doctors that are pushing that shit. And I'm so fucking against it. Because yes, if you take Suboxone for 2-3 years and you do no fucking personal growth, you do nothing to fix the person inside your head, yes, you're fucked. As soon as you come off of it, yes, you're fucking screwed. You're probably going to fucking withdraw. That's fucking true. But it seems like nobody in these Suboxone treatments pushes personal growth. Pushes things to like raise your fucking self-esteem, raise your self-confidence, build you up as a person that you fucking love. You can do Suboxone treatment right. I could have fucking done it right. If I had the right guidance, I could have done it right. I am a #1 fucking advocate for coming off of drugs cold turkey, trying to push through it, and building yourself as a person. But as I said, I do understand circumstances where Suboxone is just needed. And if it is needed, and you need to use it as a bridge to get through a certain time, work on yourself. Build your self-confidence. Build your self-esteem. This is what I could have done. And had I worked on the person that I was, and had I found something healthy to try to make myself feel better on a daily basis, maybe I wouldn't have been smoking crack the whole time that I was on Suboxone. Maybe I wouldn't have been shooting coke the whole time I was on Suboxone. Maybe I wouldn't have relapsed on heroin within a week of coming off of Suboxone. This is the reality for me. Guys, I hope this gives you a little bit of insight on Suboxone, kind of give you like a different perspective. A lot of people don't talk about it. People don't talk about the withdrawals of Suboxone. People don't talk about personal growth programs while you're on Suboxone. I understand that therapy works for some people, but it didn't work for me. And if you're like me and therapy doesn't seem to be working for you, you have to find something on top of that. You got to find something on top of that to make yourself feel better, to build yourself as a person, build your self-esteem. Because as I said before, people with fucking high self-esteem, high self-confidence, and people that love who they are, they don't fucking shoot heroin. They're not fucking smoking crack. This is fucking facts. I fucking love you guys. Have a fucking great week. We'll talk to you later. I'm out.